What's up, you guys? It's Greg. So Redfin put out some data that may have just indicated that the housing market has peaked. So let's take a look at this data. And if you want to follow along, you can just type in Redfin data center into Google and this will pop up, this exact chart here. So let's look at the listings for 2021. It's this orange line that we're looking at here. So what this is saying is that the amount of new listings is basically tracking with 2019 and 2018. Obviously 2020, there was a significant shortage right here. But what this is saying is that there isn't necessarily a housing shortage, there's just a surplus of buyers, which I think makes sense if you look at the fact that there's all the stimulus going on, especially with the younger generation. You know, if you get the millennials that haven't been able to buy a house before, now all of a sudden they have all this extra money for a down payment, especially millennials with families. They're getting these really big stimulus checks, and now they're able to enter into the housing market or be able to afford a down payment, so their barrier to entry is not what it used to be. So a surplus of buyers obviously creates for a housing shortage. So I think what's interesting is that if you go over to the pending sales tab here, the last about 4 dots, so it's about 4 or 5 weeks right here, has shown that there's less houses going under contract, just meaning that there's less offers accepted. What this is saying is that kind of the buyer's market's kind of like, hey, I'm not really into this right now. Housing prices are too expensive. I think I'm just going to wait it out, which I think is interesting because if you go over to new listing median price up here at the top, the housing pricing for 2021 has gone absolutely parabolic and it's continuing to go up. So the buyers actually set the price of the market, meaning that if a buyer comes in and is willing to pay $350,000 for this home and a seller in a similar market has a home that's better than the one that sold for $350,000, why wouldn't they list it for $360,000, $370,000? Because somebody else is probably going to go ahead and pay for that. So people being willing to pay these astronomical prices to be able to get into these houses is going to continue to drive up the pricing of houses. But like we saw in the pending area, people are kind of taking a step back from that and not wanting to pay quite as much for these houses and are willing to wait it out to get a better deal. So if you look here at the August and September area, there's always kind of a fall off. You know, typically people, it's when kids start school, people start settling down for the year, and then there's always a drop in that November, December kind of range. So I think with the fact that there's not as many homes going under contract as well as home prices continue to rise, there's going to kind of create this stagnation in the market, just a little bit, not a ton, just a little bit, in order that prices are going to start to drop slightly because homes are going to sit a little bit longer, sellers are going to be willing to accept a smaller offer, as well as home prices are just going to continue to drop. And that means that with all these people kind of waiting out the market so that they don't get stuck buying houses at astronomical prices, there might be this kind of sweet spot. Housing prices start to drop and the Fed starts increasing interest rates. So you might still be able to get into a house for a slightly cheaper price, but still take advantage of a really good interest rate. Definitely going to keep my eye on this data because I want to know what's going on in the market, because I too am in the market for another house and I'd like to know exactly what's going on. But if you want to follow along, you know, on a week-to-week basis, you can just go ahead and type in Redfin data center. There it is, Redfin data center, and then it is this top one right here. You just click on that and it takes you right to this chart that we've been discussing. So if you guys want to follow along with that, that's how you do that. I'll definitely keep you updated. Again, if you liked this video and you found this informative, please hit the like button. That would really help the channel out. Also, if you're into stocks, real estate, crypto, investing content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. I'll catch you next video.